Hello there guys, it's Joey and this is a new Beeswax spell candle for the store. This was a request. It was requested that I create a beeswax candle for the Ogham Ioho Yew, the yew tree. So, I personally adore you. Do you adore me too? No, I'm being silly. Right, I adore you, the tree. Apparently it's going to be one of those days. Right, oh, I don't know who I'm kidding, it's always that way. So I really love the tree. I think it has a fantastic energy, and it's often one of those Ogham that people kind of are a bit afraid of, again because it has a death element. It's associated with the death aspect of the crone goddess. It's quite often associated with goddesses such as the Morrigan and other crone goddesses as well, who have a death aspect or are a crone goddess, full stop. So Hecate and things of that nature, you know, you can associate those sorts of energies. The lesson of the yew for me in my personal connections with the Ogham and the tree itself is it's more than just being a tree associated with death. It is in fact very much tied to all of the cycles of life, death and rebirth. It can really help those who are going through one of these cycles, and whether it be a form of grief attached to any of these cycles. It's often used to comfort those who are grieving a loss through death, but it can come into sharp relief when one is coping with change and loss of a different kind, and it's not necessarily a physical death. It's really strong in terms of physical support to do with emotional and spiritual metamorphosis, change. These can be some of the most difficult times of our life, and it can feel a little bit like a death in that process. It can feel like we're losing parts of ourselves. It can be very difficult. And to that end, sometimes we need to incorporate the support of energies such as the tree yew. And yews are incredibly long-lived trees, and they sort of span time, and they have that feeling about them perhaps more than any other tree, that sort of ancient agelessness. At least it's how I feel about yew. It really does span time. And that kind of has this sort of comforting energy, you know, that this is not the end, and this renewal and this rebirth. And yew for me really incorporates the energy of the void. It exists within the energy of the in-between, the spaces in between death and rebirth. And it has that kind of mystical, mysterious magic all of its own. It kind of connects to the unknowable and helps us to find our way and navigate the mysteries and the unseen, as well, of course, as honouring the dead and our ancestors, which ties into that energy as well. Can be used for banishings as well. It can be used to sort of bring about change and to get rid of that which no longer serves. So for the beeswax candle itself, I actually went with a very dark bottle green almost. I quite frequently go with a black for yew, for obvious reasons. But I felt I wanted to go a little bit more earthy with this one, with the beeswax. I wanted to ground it slightly. That was just a feeling on this personal request to keep it grounded, to keep it rooted, to not let the magics of the yew go a little bit unkempt and wild. It needed to be grounded in the earthly realm a little bit with regards to this particular beeswax candle. And hopefully you can see the glitter. I always think that, you know, they look so much better in person quite frequently than they do on camera, but there is actually a balance of two forms of glitter in here, and it's probably not gonna show up that well. There is actually a green, a sort of turquoisey mystical green, and then there is actually a black glitter running through as well, of course, as black crystals. So the black crystals give resonance to the idea of the void, the unknowable, the mystical, as well as scrying, as well as knowing the unknown, seeking answers. The two colours of glitter seek a balance. It's about being in between life and death. So, you know, you have your black, you have your death element, you have your rebirth, your life, your green, your nature, your tree, and therefore it exists within both. It incorporates the energies of both into this particular beeswax candle. So I hope you like it, and many blessings.